Alrighty, guys, real quick. 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Don't matter the vehicle. Well, it do kind of matter because they just bought this thing, and I feel bad for them. All right, guys, it's always a risk buying used cars nowadays. Simply because, or one main reason is because you don't know how well this vehicle was kept up from the previous owner. You just have no way of knowing that. So if you go to a used car lot and buy another vehicle, that used car lot probably took that in as a trade. They themselves don't have a history on the maintenance of this vehicle. Okay, so it becomes a big ass gamble at that point. For instance, this vehicle is in for running rough. Now it did generate a P0304. That's a misfire in cylinder 4. And as you can see, Derman? It's got a D on it. I don't know what that means. So I got the history on it. I got new plugs, new coil, new injector. I got everything on it. So they here wanting to know why is their vehicle still running rough. You know what's crazy? Those shops, those Cousin Pookie shops out there, they never give you your freaking money back. They will use tactics like, your vehicle is so new it may need a flash update, so we suggest you take it to the dealer and get them to flash it. Well, guys, I said this before, I say it again. After so many miles on a vehicle, flashing a vehicle for some sort of drivability improvement doesn't matter, or it doesn't work anymore. Your engine, listen. When those flashes come out for, let's say, drivability improvement, let's say if engineers deem necessary, your car should idle at 900 RPMs when you first started, okay, to get past, the cold situation. All right, let's say they send programming or tuning for us to program your computer that would jack your idle up for, I don't know, 20 seconds. All right, those flashes are good for earlier built vehicles. All right, 15 years later or 10 years later and 150,000 miles later, that flash or that change, your engine is broke in by then. Okay, so if you haven't had your flashes done within 100,000 miles, there's no sense in doing them, in my opinion. And on top of that, it's risky. Okay, do y'all know what entails a flashing? We taking software out of this thing, we spiking it with a whole bunch of voltage, erasing the programming that's in it and putting new programming in it. Do you know the risk? Do you know what can happen in the process of doing that? Or you can simply drop out, or a lot of things could happen for something that's not worth it, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. After 100,000 miles, if your vehicle hasn't had the necessary flashes, because I think engineers stop working on improvements of a vehicle early on in its life. I've never seen an improvement flash update on a vehicle after 30,000 miles, because as the engine break in, it becomes accustomed to what it's going to do anyway. So programming that to make the idle go up when it's cold, you may affect something else. In other words, again, I can only speak for me, is my opinion. Leave well enough alone. All right, but that's those used car lots tactics. All right, tell the customer they need to go to a dealer because there's nothing else we can do. But why ain't you giving them their money back? For hell, they put their parts back on and turn those other parts back in. Do what you got to do to help the customer out. No, they still want to be paid for the work they do. Look, they still want to be paid for trying to fix your car. Yes, we wouldn't be here if all of this stuff worked. If you only simply needed a coil, spark plug, injector, and all that, yeah, I wouldn't even be having this discussion. But you don't. You have other problems. And the lot that sold them the car suggested they take it to a dealer. Well, here we are again. So what we speak about early, the history. No one knows the history. All right, so here's the deal. I don't know if y'all familiar with this valve. All right, it sits right here. It controls, it has an effect on misfire 2 and 4. All right, so y'all know me. Of course, I got a spare one of these. I took the old one out. I noticed a little sludge buildup. I put my known good one in, went drive it. Oh, it's running rough. All right, so we got some type of internal issue going on. I get back to the shop. All right, what's phase 2? Compression test, maybe. But something told me, let's take the cam sensor out. Remember what I told you? Because of the way these valve covers are set up, that baffle, you can no longer just pull the cap off and see what's inside. I'm assuming there's a heavy sludge buildup on this engine. In other words, it wasn't well taken care of. All right, yeah. So I pull this, and I automatically stop and suggest I need some teardown time to go any further. I need to get these valve covers off and look and see what's going on in this engine. Guys, this is a Gen 3 Pentastar. Y'all see that? This engine designed to run on 0W20 fully synthetic. Okay, so do you know how long you got to go without oil changing to sludge up a engine that use fully synthetic? Yeah. So, you know, you're going to get the usual. I just bought that car. That's not our problem. I get it. You just bought it. Why does it cost 6 hours? Then I dropped it down to 4 because really I want to get all this off, the valve covers off, and my diagnostic time. That's too much on a car they just bought. That's not my problem. All right. And lo and behold, something told me I had already grabbed this off, but yeah, y'all see that? So here's what I'm suspecting. Blown head gasket, maybe. Exhaust gas is getting in the cooling system, and on top of that, it's sludged up. Guess what? Don't even worry about the teardown time. You need an engine. We're not going to even attempt this high mileage. We're not going to even attempt to repair this. I know some of y'all going to yell out, condensation would do that. Yes, condensation would do that. Oil cooler would do that. That shop that did this stuff, they also put a cooler on here. All right, clues of the engine would have been in that cooler. I never got to see that. They did the job, not us. So if they saw milky shit all in the cooler, I mean, they could have, you know, advised the customer then. You may have gotten you a lemon. But I stopped, guys. I'm done. All right, my work here is done. I know some of y'all, you know, the mechanic, if you can't fix that. Yeah, y'all obviously haven't been burnt before. I am not, let me repeat, I am not making any kind of repairs, internal repairs to an all aluminum engine that show signs of overheating or blown head gasket symptoms. All right, that's me. I can only speak for me. And you can say, well, you're not a mechanic. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But no. All right, so based off the sludge buildup and the appearance of internal, you know, we can for shits and giggles, we can call it a blown head gasket. But that appearance, yes. I'm not finna further try to figure out why your vehicle running rough, because you're obviously having some internal issues that I'm not willing to find out what is and repair. It's hard enough finding out what something is. It's even harder to try and repair it and hope for a successful repair. We live in an age now where you can't hope for a successful repair. It has to be a successful repair, because the way they let that other shop off, they're not gonna let us off. Okay, if we so much put a spark plug in here and tell them it's fixed, damn it, they gonna hold us to that. So the size of the shop matter. People under the pressure, or people under the assumption they can easily sue a huge shop and win and get money and blah blah. No, I'm not gonna even put my employer in that position. All right, guys, we tend to go rogue sometime on some of the decisions we make. All right, I'm not gonna put my employer in that position. So my estimate will include an engine. I know all I did on this video but talk, but that's something you need to hear. All right, so I'm gonna put all this back together, put that back in, get my spare sensor out, and get this thing outside. It drives. Yeah, it drives, just run rough. So I'm gonna drive it outside. All right, guys, that's all I have. I didn't mean to talk this long. I apologize to you guys that like to see assholes and elbows. You don't want to hear all that talking. You want to see some damn work. My bad. All right, I had to get this off my chest, though. That's all I have, man. I gotta go. I'm not doing nothing to this vehicle. Okay. After seeing that, give me a nice, good thumbnail. That's all I have, guys. Thanks for tuning in.